or live internet audience.
Whoops.
And welcome into Those Were the Days. This is the show where we talk about classic TV through our modern lens, and we look back and see, was this actually worth watching? We are wrapping up science fiction shows. We have been doing, we've been off for a couple of weeks, but we're back, and we're going to finish up this topic with a little show that I'm bringing to you. I am going to host this week. I'm Travis, aka TV's Travis, but I need a team of scientists and researchers to help me out. So to help me with this, I'm going to run everything, but I need a doctor, and that's Audie.
You know, sometimes when you're watching TV shows on the interwebs that have been, you know, from back in the day, they don't get listed correctly on Amazon, and you watch the wrong one, and you wonder, what the heck does this show have to do with the title of this show? Didn't you watch the actual show episode that you're supposed to watch, and you still ask yourself, even though they use the word in the episode, what the heck does this title have to do with this show?
Our resident physicist, Amy.
Canadian bacon, Canadian maple syrup, and of course, the Canada Goose. But what about Canadian X-Files?
And finally, our remote viewer, it's Steven.
Hey, boss, I put the lens you asked for on the camera, but I think it's too close. Way too close. I can count the nose hairs. That's what you wanted. You sure? I can see all the filler we put in Matt's hair. Yeah, it's not flattering. The viewers at home might even be able to smell their breath at this distance. All right, whatever you should say, it's your show. All right, boys, Crazy Man wants the colonoscopy scope anyway. People are gonna love this.
We just
We are
kill
wrap-
Amy.
I wasn't ready. Should have been ready.
We are wrapping up our sci-fi shows with, as Amy so eloquently put it, Canadian X-Files. The show we watched is Psi Factor, Chronicles of the Paranormal.
Psi Factor, in case you're go looking for it.
Yes.
That
Psi
kind
Factor.
of psi.
Yeah.
Definitely not science. It's the other one.
Yep. So Psi Factor, Chronicles of the Paranormal, was a Canadian show, ran for 4 seasons from 1996 to 2000, consisting of 88 episodes, created by Peter Aykroyd, amongst others. And I love the Wikipedia for that, where the series was hosted by Peter Aykroyd's brother, Dan Aykroyd.
You know, Peter Aykroyd's
Yeah.
brother.
Peter must be more famous in Canada.
I guess.
Maybe.
I want that to be true.
Yeah.
Let's just be really good.
Canada's
They
like,
go
Dan
places. Yeah.
Yep.
Dan went to Second City in America. Like, he's a traitor. Peter, though, he stuck
That guy.
around.
All right, so I'm going to start with Steven. I have a question I'm pretty certain I know the answer to, but Steven, were you familiar with, or had you ever watched Sci Fi
No.
before?
No, I was not even remotely familiar with this show. I didn't know these words were all collected in the same order as a title for any show ever. This is nothing. Got nothing.
All right. Audie, how about you?
Not at all. Before last week, and you talking about it, I didn't know Dan Aykroyd had a brother that was in entertainment in any way, shape, or form. So, yeah, this is all news to me.
All right. Amy, had you heard of this one?
Oh yeah, no, saw every episode. I know I'm back to front. Oh yeah, favorite. No, obviously not. I'm not convinced this show is real.
So, all right. Well, I am one who did. I remember this show. It ran for a while. I want to say it was TNT was running it in syndication.
Interesting.
And because I just stumbled upon it. I was flipping through channels one day, and I see Matt Frewer, who is a face I recognize, and I was like, "Oh, what is this?" and I would watch occasional episodes of it. I don't know much else about it. Like it was not a show I sought out. I just remembered it. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to revisit that and do something new. So I mentioned Matt Frewer. Matt Frewer came on in season 2 of the show to play case director Matt Prager. The show started in 1996. The first season was a little different. So the first season, the show centers around the Office of Scientific Scientific Investigation and Research, the OSIR. And they
Which is
frame it
wildly different than the BPRD.
Yep.
right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Just
And
a
not-
whole different set of letters.
Not nearly as easy to say either way.
No.
No. They try to frame it as these are actual case files from the Office of Scientific Investigation and Research. So it's a very Law and Order feel to it. In that respect, that's what they're going for.
It's kind of like
was-
it reminded me of Dateline, like with Dan Aykroyd playing the Lester Holt role of like, yes, I'm a part of this show as well. Here's the story. Thank you for watching the show.
Uh-huh.
The end.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel like Dan Aykroyd's moments for this are all recorded in one day.
Yes.
Like a
Yeah.
4-hour stretch. He
Absolutely.
just comes in, reads a few lines. All right, I'm out of here.
Yep.
I got to go make
For
some
the
vodka.
entire season.
Yeah. All at
Yeah.
once.
The OSIR was based off of some actual think tank that did exist, but none of this has any basis in actual like cases
What?
or anything like that. I know, crazy.
I feel
Really?
betrayed.
But the first season, they actually set it up. Season 1 does not have Matt Frewer. Instead, the case managers are 2 characters named Connor Doyle and Curtis Rollins, and the show would do 2 investigations per hour-long episode that were unrelated to each other, and it was shot much more documentary style. A lot of handheld stuff,
Sure.
a lot of interview segments, like a documentary.
Oh.
And then
Which makes the framing device make more sense.
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Like a Dateline.
Yeah.
And then season 2, so the one character of Connor was killed off at the end of season 1, and season 2 started up, and they just ditched the whole two plot lines thing, went to basically just a straight hour drama. And they bring in Matt Frewer. You had Barclay Hope plays Peter Aykroyd, and what was her name that played Lindsay? Nancy Ann Sakovich was Lindsay Donner. They are the 2 that were in, basically them and Colin Fox are in the whole series. They're all listed for 88 episodes. And then Matt Frewer came along. He was in for like 49 episodes. They end up killing his character off later on. Or not, no. He's infected with a virus and has to go to another planet. It
Oh
gets
yeah,
weird.
of course.
It's real weird.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why
Yep.
not?
We also had characters like Frank Elsinger, who sadly isn't in this episode, but he was played by Nigel Bennett, who was the one I mentioned last episode. Reminds me, every time I see his IMDb photo, I think it's John Delancey for a second. But
Oh
he's
yeah.
not. We did have Peter McNeil as Ray Donahue in this, the sort of cop. I don't know what his role is at the OSIR, but he is police without being the policeman.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I guess you just have to have that. And of course, Dan Aykroyd as himself, the host of the show, which cracked me up. There's just that's all he did. Every episode was him 30 seconds at the beginning, 30 seconds at the end, basically saying nothing, and that was it.
It's star power.
Okay, but he talked about the Indianapolis, which is a wildly
Yeah.
fast. I was like, I got excited. I was like, okay, all right, I know this story. This is good. This is
Mhm.
good. This has nothing to do with that at all.
It has to do with it in that there's time travel ish thing sort of going on, but that's as close as we get. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
far though,
It's a
and somebody
pomple-
gets stuck in a
related.
wall.
It's a
Yes.
pamplemousse.
Yeah,
Or whatever
Exactly.
it's called.
Yeah. No, I get
Thank
the
you,
title.
Stephen, for
I get
attempting
it.
to.
I get it.
Say it.
yeah.
Palimpsest.
Palimpsest.
Yeah. Pepsi wreck. I got it.
Yeah.
Right. You should, that should have been in your intro, Steven, just listing off all the different versions of the title.
Right?
Yeah.
The funny thing, before we get into the actual episode we watched, the reading the kind of synopsis of this series, because again, I only watched like bits and pieces of it. I would catch an episode here or there, and I was like, oh, because they were all of them were very like bottle episode, monster of the week type
Yeah.
things.
Sure.
There was some overarching stuff that would go on, because like in season 2, Prager is introduced, and there's also Michael Moriarty joined the cast as a character named Michael Kelly. A lot of people using their first names as their character names in this show, I noticed. But Michael
Listen, if
Moriarty's
it's
character,
good enough for The Office, it's good enough for
Yeah,
Sci
sure. I
Fi.
mean, why
True.
worry about it?
but his character was like a conspiracy theorist who was friends with Prager and butted heads with the guy, Nigel Bennett's character, who sort of ran things. And so that angle was played for a while too. This show got very strange, like aliens and alien DNA, and a character that dies off in season 1 appears again in season 4 because he was pulled out of the building before it blew up, and they kept me in Siberia for 3 years testing, running experiments on me.
Look, between this one and the episode that I wasn't supposed to watch but did watch, yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. Okay. So we watched what is listed on IMDb as season 3, episode 4, Palimpsest. And it is listed as that on Amazon Prime, where season 3 is the only season available. However, that is not the episode on Amazon. It is in fact episode 5, The Kiss.
Yeah, it is.
And on Peacock, you can watch it as episode 7. They have the proper, at least it's not in the right order, but at least it's the right episode. Because I got halfway through watching The Kiss before I realized this is not what like this has nothing to do with the plot synopsis that I read at all. And I was taking notes while I'm watching it, and I'm like, okay, we've got cops and somebody gets shot. That's all right. And I finally gave up taking notes when they got to possession by intercourse.
Oh,
Dealing
that's a
with
good time.
Succubus, or so they thought.
Kind of, yeah.
It look, we watched the better of the 2 episodes. Okay, and by better,
Yeah.
by better, I would
of,
say considerably better.
Yeah, it was better.
Yeah, Pluto TV also has it as episode 4, but there's 75 minutes of commercials. So don't do that to yourself.
So it's like a 3-hour show.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was awful.
So the episode we watched, Palimpsest, it starts off with Matt Frewer's character of Prager and Donahue. They're just in a building. And I kind of like, it's supposed to be like a crime scene, I think, that they're called in on. Because there's no setup. It's just they're there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's one police officer in the room, and that's it. One of their OSIR people are already in the room. And there's an elderly woman's body found in the basement of this building. And it's weird because her body has impact, like it fell from a great height. And the doctor is saying, like, yeah, she's got a fractured skull. She's got all these internal issues going on. The floor where she landed is indented, like the wood is all broken.
Tile, because it's the laundry room.
Oh, that's right. It was tile, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But the ceiling is 8 feet, and there's no other signs of anything, just this body there. So they're trying to figure that out. And then, what is it? Then they're going up the stairs, and because there's another body found in the building, but this one's on like an upper floor.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how it's a walk up, so the out of shape guy can't make it. He's breathing heavy.
I feel like it's important to note that this team, it's Mulder and Scully. If you took Scully and broke her into 3 or 4 separate people and gave them varying levels of disbelief in what's going on, but we're going to do a lot of science.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah. We're going to science
some
the
of the
shit
science is going to be really sketchy. And it's very good. I laughed out loud at one point.
So they go up to like the 4th floor or whatever this building, and there's a squatter in the building because the building is scheduled for demolition. and there's a squatter in there who won't leave, and he found a dead body in his apartment, and the body in the apartment smells terrible, and is covered in glass, but the glass doesn't like the body they find has old clothing, but the glass looks very different.
Mm-hmm.
And the dude in the apartment is like, yeah, they're just trying to plant this on me to get me out of the building. Like he's all conspiracied out because they're trying to demolish the building.
They're trying to
It's
gentrify the
condemned.
neighborhood. It's
Mhm.
cool.
Yes.
I support this man.
Yeah.
You
Fine.
do it, sir.
Fight the power, Kmart Dudley Moore.
Yes.
Yes.
He really
Thank
was.
you.
Yeah, he
Really
was.
And we got our. By the way, what do you think? I want to get around the room. Amy, I'll start with you. What do you think of the opening credits?
I'm gonna be real. You've asked me this question and it is not coming to mind, so I'm gonna say I was probably unimpressed by it. I
Audie, how
have
about
no
you?
memory of them.
Do you remember the opening at all?
Just a little bit, but not much. So yeah, I'm kind of with Amy. Like I remember the song.
X-Files, it is not.
Yeah, I remember the song a little bit only because I had to try and figure it out for the social post. But yeah, that's about it. Yeah, okay. It had an opening. I'm sure it did.
Mm-hmm. Steven, do you remember it at all?
It was the greatest copy paste fail of a theme song and intro I've ever seen in my life. It was hey, I'm gonna copy your homework, but don't make it just different
Oh,
enough
yeah.
that the teacher can't tell.
I asked ChatGPT, and this is what it gave me.
It was like there was like
You
a
know
name,
when they make a copy
Piccolo.
of a copy of a copy, and it's just
It was like
Mhm.
this piccolo sounds and like flashy lights and Matt Fruit. It'd be like it was like a three wolf moon kind of deal going on with the people. It had like one person, a whole body picture, and then like the creepy serial killer
Yes.
face.
The,
It was just the best.
The Sears portrait special.
Yes, it was. It
Yes.
was great. I'm sure.
All set to that wonderful theme song
Yeah.
that
Boop, boop, boop,
is
boop, boop.
trying so hard.
Mhm.
It was so bad.
Bless its heart. I can't.
And after the opening credits is when we had our Dan Aykroyd moment where he
Yeah,
just
yeah.
mentions the Philadelphia experiment,
Mhm.
Yes.
and that this was the and then case 600-001.
No,
Great-
I like
great
that
case number.
though. No. But I like it. I mean, the number is a weird choice because you can pick any number you want, bud.
Mhm.
You can pick a more interesting number, but
Mhm.
no, I like that because that's like the oh, what's that internet thing with the weird artifacts? Carry on. I'll go look
Like
it up.
creepypasta?
No, I keep wanting to say SCP, but that's not it.
Oh, but I
But
know
it's
what you're
something
talking
like
about.
that.
But I kind of like the Dan Aykroyd thing, just like, but it makes more sense in the documentary style of season
Mhm.
1.
Oh no, it is
and,
SCP. I was
and
correct.
much less so with kind of just a straight drama show.
Mhm.
Unless you think of it all from the lens of like, this is all just dramatic recreations.
Oh sure,
Yeah.
reenactments.
A
Like it's
reenactment.
reenactment. It's Dan
Did they
Aykroyd
just
reading
put
us the
that
case
in
file.
text just down in the corner? We could have just
Dramatization.
Oh,
just
that would
leave
be
it
great. The whole time it's
The whole
down there.
time.
just the whole time.
So yeah, so all the physical evidence points to like severe impact trauma for this old woman, and then this guy just appeared in this room to the sound of breaking glass, and so they've got to figure out what is going on with this. So they take him back. They're doing their autopsies and all that. That's where we meet Dr. Anton.
Mm-hmm.
He ends up, his character goes in weird places in this show.
His
I don't
doctoring
even-
goes in some weird
Yeah, he's
places in this
He's
episode.
an odd doctor man.
Because like he's definitely a doctor, but he's also very into the paranormal. So yeah,
I mean,
it
that's fine as long as he's not my doctor.
Right.
like that's cool. But that's what I'm saying, right? Like we've broken Scully up, and this is Scully if she believed as much as Mulder.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah. I also love the costume choice of Matt Furrow wearing that little beanie.
Oh,
on
perfect.
Yeah.
occasion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that was to hide a hairpiece.
His
Like
hair
maybe they just didn't
was
want to put him
not his
on that
own.
day.
That much
Mhm.
I know for sure. Either it was I mean, if that man takes a shower, his hair falls down over his whole face. It just covers down to his chin. He had the whole comb backward
I
operation
had
going
a
on.
Mhm.
I had a friend in high school who talked about his grandfather and how his grandfather only had hair on one side and it was really long and he would spray it and fold it back and
Yeah.
forth. It's the same
Yeah,
idea.
can never ride in a
You
convertible.
can't.
Mhm.
No, it's
Just
just flat.
flapping like this the whole
It's
time. Matt
And it's
Frewer,
tough.
though.
It's tough to take Matt Frewer seriously with his hair the way it is, and
Yeah.
him being the straight man the entire episode. It's just like, who hired you for this?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
did you?
It is an
were-
interesting role for him because like I grew up with Max Headroom, so I can't
Yeah.
see his face
Yeah.
without hearing
Mhm.
that voice, and
Yeah.
he plays this very straight middle of the road.
He's Big Russ Thompson from Honey I Shrunk the Kids
Yep.
too.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
where that's
Yep.
who he is to me, and I've always loved
Right.
him.
Mhm.
I gotta say,
And
man,
he's such a character as Big Russ too. Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
he had a lot going on. He could be bald in that, but he had a hat on most of the time. But his acting in this was just poor. Like everybody in this show, to me, was making sure they got their line read and they hit their mark. That was the extent of the effort they were going to put in. Because I felt like
Be
everybody who
glad.
was doing anything was just saying the words, but not really involved in anything happening
Just-
around them.
Except
Just be
the
glad we
psychic.
watched this.
oh yeah,
Oh, the
she
psychic. We'll
goes
get
for
to
it. We'll
her.
get to
oh
her.
We're gonna
yeah,
get
oh
his-
yeah.
We'll
Ooh.
get
So
to her.
much.
That was
But-
a lot.
You think this was bad? The other episode was orders of magnitude worse.
It definitely has the
Incredible.
feel of high schoolers trying to be serious, making a video
Yeah.
of something.
Yeah, because the closer
Used to
you
make the
zoom
best
in,
videos.
the more intense the scene is.
Mhm.
So let's see
Yeah.
if we can get our entire face to fill up the 4x3 square. That stood out to me real quick. I don't know why. Like the framing on this is rather intense. Maybe I should try that with this show. What do you think? There we
Maybe.
go.
Yeah. There you go.
I suddenly want to take you more seriously.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
you though?
Yeah.
Audio
Right.
listeners, I put my
Even
face in the whole
no.
TV.
So, as I was watching this episode too, I was reminded of this same plot device. So the idea being that something is going on in this building, and they can't figure out what it is, but they come to the realization that palimpsest
Palimpsest.
is so
Papapoop
palimpsest.
success.
Yes, that
Papapoose.
is.
Polyp
How is
abscess.
it, Amy?
Yes.
Give it a description of what that is. That
It's-
because they use it in the show. but-
It's when it's a document or piece of paper where something has been erased and something new has been put on it, but you can still see the thing that was erased.
Yes. And so the whole idea here is that that's happening with time
In this building.
at this
Mhm.
particular spot. We do meet the architect of the building who really only cares about getting the building built. She doesn't care about anything else. That was kind of an interesting moment where Prager is like,
Yeah.
listen, people are dying in this building. You should maybe think about that.
Mhm.
And he
Which
also
was-
has the weird zone out moment when he sees her for the first time.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
And that felt
Mhm.
so out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It-
I was like,
it-
are we doing like I was expecting saxophone music?
Yeah.
Like Careless Whisper is gonna start and
It's a meet
what's
cute, Travis.
happening?
Mhm.
well,
No, but
But
we
the-
do get a meet cute in this episode though.
Yeah, we do.
oh boy,
Mhm.
do we.
A
Okay, dude.
Polaroid based meet cute.
So, yeah, the dead body they found in the guy's apartment has clothing that's like custom made. You know, no labels on it. He's got old coins. He's got old like tools, but this newer glass, this glass that like the one scientist is like, this is what
Just
they
like
use on
the
the
shuttle.
space shuttle.
It's
Mm.
not commercially available.
So it's just everything is very weird. There was an episode of Fringe that did this same idea of a building where time was like the veil between time periods was thinning. In
But
their case, it was the two different universes. crossing over instead of time, but it was the same, very similar idea that I always thought was kind of interesting.
But it's not just the building, as we find out.
Yeah.
We need one
Well-
more little ingredient.
Yeah, so the building
Apparently.
itself isn't what's doing it. So they figure out, and then Peter Axon is like, well, everything's been happening around noon when the UV rays are the strongest. So I'm going to take this
Obviously.
concentrated UV cannon
Okay, but this
and
was
point it
cool
at the
though.
building. It was really cool.
They put on their cataract sunglasses.
Yep.
And he fired concentrated UV beams, which you can see.
Oh yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pew,
That's
pew,
they're
pew.
super concentrated, man.
Yeah. You got to see the
but
pew-pews.
I loved the effect of it hitting the building, and you see like
Mhm.
the old building underneath it.
That
I
was
thought that
fun.
was
Like-
really cool looking.
For everything this show just was kind of at, the special effects of
Were
that
great.
were amazing.
Yeah.
Great.
Especially for the time. I'm sitting here going, like, that was when?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
this
did
is-
it. They
this is-
liked it so much.
Found the
and
budget.
They were
Found
so
it.
proud of it.
Yep.
They shot that building like 5 times. Like
Oh,
we
yeah, they
it
did
was,
keep
They were
shooting
like,
it.
look
It
at
was
that. Look what we
great.
could do. We might pan around a whiteboard with our one camera zoomed in too close. But dagnabbit, look at what we can do with concentrated
We
UV.
saved so much on the opening theme song.
That really did
It
boggle.
had
I
real.
know.
It had real. My nephew makes a website energy.
I know. Yeah, my nephew does the computer stuff.
Yeah.
I know I'm harping on the close-ups, but that was really distracting. When the guy's got the pointy thing and he's pointing at the screen of the different stuff, and the camera was
Mhm.
just moving to the different. I was
Yep.
like, you can pan out and just look at it. Just look at the man,
was-
point at the thing.
Oh,
Like I'm
Yeah,
getting
that takes
dizzy.
effort,
we've
Steven.
done. Yeah. So while they're firing the concentrated UV, Lindsay is back, I guess, at headquarters or maybe in the truck behind him. I don't know. She's somewhere else, but she's doing like a heat scan of the building, and they get a heat signature. So they run into the building, and there's somebody in the wall.
Yeah.
yeah. Someone's in the basement. You gotta go get him out.
So they break the wall up. They get this guy out, and he's dressed a lot like the one dead body we found.
Okay,
Only
but it's
glows.
really good because there's like one little hole in the wall and his like eyes, and so at no point are we like, sir, calm down.
Right.
Could you stand still? No, it is wildly like hitting this wall with
Right.
a fire extinguisher and a crowbar while a man is behind it. It's
Yeah.
just laughing plaster
And
flying
not-
everywhere.
Not bothering to say, hey, stay
Hey,
still. Make sure I
hey.
don't hit you.
And then he's
I'm
like, I
just-
can't breathe. There's clearly a hole, my man. You're all right. You're having a panic attack. I understand. Tell me 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can feel. like it's cool, guy. I got you.
It's because they had the physicist and the case manager there. They didn't have anybody with the medical training. to calm
No.
this down.
No.
It really didn't.
That part of Scully was back in the truck.
Yeah.
Yep.
But they get the guy out, and they take him into Anton. And I gotta say, one of the things about this episode is weird stuff is going on, and everybody is oddly calm about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, when
That
you work for
guy-
OSIR, you're used to weird
Of
stuff.
course.
sure,
Even
Yeah, I
though
mean,
it's
you
still
are
weird
expecting
when you're
weird
talking about
stuff.
it.
that
This is weird,
but-
right? Yeah, this is weird, but we work
I mean,
here, right?
the
Yeah,
one,
we work
the
here.
one cop that we see at the beginning, like she is weirded
But she
out.
is
And they're like,
weirded
yeah,
out,
go
yeah.
on break.
Mhm.
And she's like, great. I'm going to Tim Hortons. I will see you guys later.
the dude they pulled out of the wall is like seeing 130 years later or whatever technology, and he's just
Yeah.
rolling with
Yeah,
it.
that's
Not big
like,
deal.
yeah. You should definitely be asking a lot of questions.
Mhm.
And
But he's gonna have a
Prager-
meet cute.
right. Well, Prager doesn't buy his story. Like, he's trying to figure it out. And I do like them doing things like taking X-rays and
Mhm.
Anton being like, look at the way this leg is mended. There's no way somebody's going to go to these lengths for a hoax.
Oh, that was
Mhm.
the other thing
Mhm.
with the dead guy that this guy looked like. We talked a lot about how bad his teeth were.
Oh yeah.
And I was
Mhm.
like, okay, all right. All right, calm down. Because you can do that. Well, no, because dental isn't covered in Canada either. Like, come on, man. Like, this is not, those are luxury bones. Not everybody can afford
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
He also smelled like a lie because it was a tannery.
That's
what
right.
the building
Yeah.
used to
That's
be.
what the smell was.
Mhm.
And not from
Um,
burying bodies.
Nope, not at all.
One of my favorite dialogue exchanges in this happened when the doctor meets this man because he says, "Hi, I'm whatever. I'm the doctor." The immediate line after that, the guy goes, "Who are you?" Like they did it out of order, and I was like, "Wait a minute!" The dude just says, "I'm Doctor Anton," or "I'm
Yeah.
Doctor Guy." Who are you? I
Mm.
wrote down Aykroyd's brother is about as good at dialogue as he is. 'Cause there's a lot of words. It's very George Lucas going on over here.
So we have like meetings of all the OSIR people being like, maybe this is going on. I don't know if I believe it. He sends Lindsay in to talk to the guy. His name's Wallace. She does some research on him first, and then she goes in to talk to him. And I like her taking his picture. Now, I will say he would know what a photograph is, but in no way the way that she's doing it.
No.
Yeah, he says he got a carbon sheet or whatever they used to call him. Yeah,
Right.
he mentions that.
But he's just so calm about it. He's like, "This is really
He's
cool. I'm
so
going to get a picture
calm.
of you." And they're flirting. It's adorable.
I
He's
mean, there's
definitely-
always that one, like, we've all got that one friend that could be dumped 100 and whatever years in the future and would just be like, yeah, all right. I got nothing going on, I guess.
Mhm.
Sure. Might as well roll with it.
Yep.
What's panicking gonna do?
Yeah, I'm just gonna
Right.
be here.
I'm not in a wall
Um,
anymore, so I guess it's
True. It's just a step up. He's not stuck.
But then Matt Prager wants to bring in Kate. He wants to bring in the remote viewer
Yes.
Yes, he does.
because we need to learn a little bit more about this.
Yep.
And so she is going to read Wallace as well as the glass. And apparently her method of remote viewing is to touch the things and then do charcoal drawings.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just that's a really simple way
like
of putting
automated.
it, Travis.
It's like automatic rating.
It's
That's
automatic
a pretty
rating.
that's a pretty common thing.
Yeah.
But
Like,
that's her
I'll give him
particular
that one.
flavor.
Yeah.
And Amy, you wanted to talk about this person,
No, it was
so
so
please
good.
do.
It was so good. Okay. So she's into it. This was my favorite part, though. This was the best part. She goes
Mhm.
so crazy, and it's so good. And she's doing the charcoal drawings, and there's the drawing of the building that's going to be built.
Mhm.
That was really cool, which they identify immediately from her really not good charcoal drawings because she's not looking because she's doing the automatic drawing like that.
Yeah.
No, but so then she's starting to freak out and her heart rate is skyrocketing and the doctor's like, grab her arm, and he's got a syringe, and I was like, great. And he's like, I'm gonna inject her with lidocaine. Yeah,
Like, Lord.
yeah,
Goodness.
you've got
That'll-
like a lot of choices, my man. Lidocaine?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about lidocaine.
They can't
Like I
afford
said,
the consultant on set.
This character went places, and apparently one of those places is just directly to the lidocaine.
Lidocaine.
I'm not gonna lie. This might be because I have a broken 21st century brain, but this scene did make me go, should I turn the volume down or at least make sure that
Oh my
somebody knows
God.
I'm watching?
It was very
television
when
show?
Harry
Yeah.
met Sally. I was like, I will have what she's having
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, because
Automatic drawing is great.
Yeah, the close
Right
up.
up until you go crazy, and then they have to inject you with lidocaine, apparently.
The close-up camera wasn't doing it any favors either. I
No,
was like, "This
no.
is,
No.
this is. I'm gonna get in trouble. Is my mom coming? Like this? I
Just
swear, I'm
check the
watching
laptop
something on
real quick.
TNT.
Yep.
Like it's not.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But she was doing that scene with her whole
Mhm.
heart.
Oh,
Yeah, she
every
was.
every bit, everything.
She was
she had.
into it.
She
And I
Lord.
do
every
like
penny
when-
that day.
Glad she was just drawing buildings. Good Lord.
They were tall
And-
buildings.
Yes.
They were
Mhm.
tall and proud,
And-
pointy at the
Yes.
top.
You know, some of those openings inside the building, we'll just say.
Oh
Don't
god,
even worry about it.
can't handle it.
And so all right, so they figured out something's going on, and as Kate and Anton are leaving, and Kate's like, you injected me with lidocaine? You could have killed me. He's like, it's fine. Don't worry. I'm a doctor.
Lidocaine.
Bad. Yeah. C's
Like,
get
are you
degrees.
allergic? Like, is that the problem? like, it's lidocaine, man. Like, you can go buy it. I mean, I hate pranks, but a pretty good prank is to take the lidocaine spray it on the toilet seat before somebody goes in there, and then they have a numb butt.
Oh, that's a good one.
You didn't hear it from me, but
No.
I mean, that's just,
No, there's no recorded evidence that you ever told
recorded
anybody.
evidence. You should
None at
not try this at home, because if somebody is allergic to lidocaine, that sucks. But
Yeah, don't do it.
I'm
Nobody
just
wants a
saying,
butt
it's
rash.
not exactly, anything
Yeah.
else, man.
Mm-hmm.
So as they're walking out, they run into Valerie, the architect that's doing the building, and Kate has a very similar reaction to her that Matt did earlier, this sort of spaced out thing, and she's like, I've met you before.
Yeah.
And I'm at this point, I'm like, oh, okay, so she's the old lady. Yes, she is. But what Kate tells Anton is test her for PK, for psychokinetics. Because we've still got some runtime to fill out. We're not there yet.
We can't.
So this is where we get the classic Ghostbusters psychokinetic test of the cards with symbols on the back of them.
Which is very classic.
It's a good one.
Yeah, and
But
Dan
his
Aykroyd was
start-
involved in the first one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is where we learn a little bit of Valerie's backstory in that because Anton's like, it's dark in here, and he goes to turn on the light, and she's like, it's too bright, and he's, as doctors would do, what?
Yeah.
And turns out she's got macular degeneration. She's like, I'm going to be blind in 5 years. And that's the motivation and the reason why she wants this building to get built.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was kind of impressed with that plot point. I was like, okay, there's some sympathy there for this lady now.
I mean, at least we're giving a reason for her to be so gung-ho about it.
Right,
and
she's
just,
not-
she's a terrible person.
Right. She's not the real estate baron who's putting up luxury condos on the Boys and Girls Club. Like, this is her magnum opus as an artist, and she wants to see it before she loses her vision. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I understand this.
While Anton is testing her, the clock starts to run backwards.
That was pretty.
Mhm.
That was a good detail. It was good.
It was nice, and he sort of I liked Colin Fox's performance in that moment. His confusion of it, and then he's like, Valerie, do you see that on the clock? And when she turns around, it stops.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all the information he needs to figure out that she is causing all of this.
Yep.
Because
I mean, surely
That
it's
runtime I
also the
mentioned?
building, though. Like, it's got to be.
there's
It's a
there's some ley lines, right?
gatekeeper,
Yeah.
keymaster scenario. I'm
So,
just,
A lot of similarities. Haunted building.
if it
cards.
works,
Yeah.
Mhm.
don't mess with it.
Yeah.
So
reinvent
they
the
figure out that she is causing this, and they sort of come to the conclusion they've got to get her to somehow stop it. And I guess their way to do that is to show her old self dead.
Well, so they figure that out after, because after that is when they identify the body as hers.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're like, no, just look at her, just
Mhm.
look,
Yeah.
like look with your eyes, like look. And then they're like, but her eyes are different colors. Well, maybe they can do eye transplants in the future.
That was a stretch,
There you
but
go.
I'll take it.
I'll
Hey,
take it.
everything else in this is a stretch, so
Yeah.
we're already limbered up. We might as well go.
I
there.
like that she got two that matched.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
was nice.
I'm not sure that's so much a stretch now, though.
No, it's not a huge.
No,
like
true.
we're not that far. You can get corneal
Um,
transplants.
Right.
So they determine, okay, we have to do that and try to stop whatever is going on. But then
Apparently,
there's
they did do a whole eye transplant in
Oh, wow.
2023. The
Wow.
first one ever.
Did it work? They usually don't work. The first one's like, well, he can see blacks and whites. It just
I mean, that's what I'm saying, but that's the first step.
yeah, there's light going to the retina.
yeah, got to start somewhere.
That's like nerve.
The mere fact that we transplanted an eye is a huge step forward.
Okay, good.
So no,
Great.
Mhm.
so no, it didn't. work.
No, it doesn't
So-
work, but they did put it in there.
Yeah.
They sure did.
Yeah.
So they decide, okay, we've got to get Valerie to see her old self, and that will maybe fix things. But now we've got the moral dilemma because Wallace, our guy they found in the wall, was a deserter during the Civil War, and so his history is that he was executed.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, do we do this because it might send him back and then he'll die? And it's like, well, but maybe what we did would change things, like it. But they spend like 30 seconds on that, and they're like, well, we're going to do it anyway. However, he does try to get away, and so they're bringing Valerie to see her old body. At the same
I
time,
believe they say like they're gonna make contact.
Yes.
I thought that like they gotta like touch in order
Yes.
to fix this whole nonsense.
yeah, it's same matter.
Which if
occupying
I
the
saw
same
my
space.
old lady dead body, I would not touch it.
No.
Just
Yeah.
no. There's
No.
no 1,000 wild horses could not drag me close enough to touch my own dead body.
Nope,
Just
no.
couldn't happen.
Look, I've seen Time Cop. I know what happens.
This is
Not
what I'm
good.
saying.
I was gonna say,
Shoot.
like, it's funny the different ways we think about. Oh yeah, if we touch ourselves, what's gonna happen? Well, in this universe, the end of everything. In this
Yeah.
universe, oh, we'll close a window.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll fix the
It'll
problem.
just fix everything.
But Wallace is like, I ain't going back, and he stabs Ray, who's watching him, and runs away. So now you've got Peter and Matt are chasing him through the building.
There was no resistance. That man is made of jello.
Yeah.
It's just in, out, gone.
Yep.
And so we've got the two competing things going on. They're chasing him through the building. It's tense. Meanwhile, she's looking at the body and freaking out about that.
Yeah.
And like, which you would do, but does end up touching the body. And then there's a flash of light. And that's it.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
That's when
It's like-
time go like that. And then
And they don't find Wallace. They just find the Polaroid because everything else went with him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But the Polaroid that was in his pocket.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank goodness.
and
That'd mess up the timeline something awful if that
Oh,
went
yeah.
back with him.
yeah.
yeah, it would. And as the bodies, the old woman, the old version of Valerie, and the other body of random person we didn't care
Yeah,
about.
that
at
was
all,
in the drawer.
that was in the drawer, all disappeared. Everything's back to normal.
Mhm.
And we even get Ray is fine. Didn't
Mhm.
even need surgery. He's okay. And then
Nah.
the episode ends. That's it.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Dan Aykroyd comes
says
out.
This was great.
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd shows up, says, "Time is weird."
Isn't
The-
it though?
I mean,
Isn't
it
it?
is.
If we've learned anything since 2020, it's that fact.
Yeah. It says, thank you for joining us for Purple Sex. And you're like, okay, we're out.
Great.
Mhm.
Great.
I'm going to get that word
And
right
that-
before the end of the show. It's fine.
No, you're not.
Nope. And that is Sci Factor Chronicles of the Paranormal, the episode Palimpsest. All right, Amy, you've watched an episode of this now.
I sure did.
Would you watch more of Sci Factor?
I mean, like voluntarily. I mean, it wasn't terrible by any
Mhm.
stretch. This one
Yeah.
was. It did make me go, man. I wish I was watching X Files.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
get that. Steven,
I
how
was
about
like, man,
you?
if
Would you
X
watch
Files
more?
did this, like Mulder be having a field day.
You know, as
So
bad as
good.
that episode of X Files was that we watched a while back with the
It
cats,
was better than
It was-
it was better
this.
than this.
It
It's
was
better than
great.
And it was about cats.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Steven, would you watch more Sci Factor?
That's a wonderful question. Though I enjoyed the episode Palindrome. I think I would
I
watch
think you
it.
mean Palanquin?
Yes, yes, that's the one. That's the one. I would watch it again in a group with some drinks, Mystery Science Theater style maybe, but just
Mhm.
to watch it by myself. I do want to bring up a very important point about this episode and maybe this show altogether. The Foley artist deserves an award
Yes.
for using the most
Mhm.
bonkers noises for
Mhm.
things. Like when the Polaroid makes the sound of a powder-powered flash bulb. That was probably my favorite sound I heard. It was like, "Pooch." And I was like, okay.
I wanted that. Like, I wanna put way too much credit on it and be like, oh, well, that's because the other guy, because because he was from the past.
Oh, he
see,
could
and so
hear.
it crossed, and then just
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
Okay, yeah. I also
No,
enjoyed
no.
how when they were coughing running from the building, the actors got tired of
We're
coughing,
not
so
coughing.
they just
Yeah.
snatched one loop and just used it over and over
I was
until they
like-
left the room.
And they were not physically doing
No,
that. And so
no.
I was so confused. I was like, who's this other person coughing? I was like, is there another guy in a wall? Like, what are we? Who's coughing? Oh, it was them.
Yeah, it was their
Oh.
coughs, but they just grabbed a little chunk and just looped it until the scene was over. It was bold strategy.
Yeah,
They'll never
was-
notice.
Nope, never.
Yeah. Anyway, no, Travis, I don't want to watch this again.
Audie, you've watched 2 episodes of this show. Would you like-
Yes. Yes, I have. And I'm good with just 2. I'm just going to say it. Yeah. I'm good with just 2 episodes of this, especially the kiss. Whew.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
All
You
right,
know,
I'll watch one more episode. Just one more. Now I'm curious.
I'll tell you afterwards, and then you won't have to worry about it.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, after watching this, I will keep it in my memories of like stumbling upon it on TNT in a random Wednesday morning.
Yeah, like that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Is it 1:00 in the morning and I can't sleep and I have turned on the TV and this has turned up?
Yeah.
Great. Phenomenal.
sure.
But that doesn't happen anymore.
No.
No.
I don't ever just turn on the TV. And so now I have to make a conscious choice, and this is not conscious choice television.
Mm-hmm. It's a good.
No, although
that's a
I
good way
will
to put it.
say for me, because I did watch occasional episodes of this, when I see Colin Fox, who sadly just passed away last month, Dr.
Aw.
Anton,
Hmm.
I would see him pop up in things because he was one of those character actors that just did movies and TVs for decades. And this was like the one of like 2 projects he was ever on that was more than an episode or 2. But he
Sure.
did a lot of voice acting too. So I would see him pop up and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, it's the dude from Sci Factor. And the same thing with Barkley Hope, Peter Aykroyd. I would see him pop up in stuff. And I'm like, I remember him. But outside of that factor of it, no, I'm not going to seek this one out again. This is firmly 90s Canadian syndicated cable television, and it can stay there. As far as I'm concerned, it was fun to revisit and be like, oh yeah, I remember stumbling upon this one. Man, it was rough. I'm just gonna, and the other episode was so much worse.
Incredible.
It really, really was. But yeah, that's Sci Factor. That ends Sci-Fi month. Sci-fi episodes. This was fun to watch some old sci-fi though,
Mhm.
and
I
the
love old
varying
sci-fi.
the degrees of sci-fi quality, right? Because like this
Yeah.
is all right, but like Outer Limits was a ton of fun.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
So it's all that. Now, where are we going next? Do we know?
That's a good
No.
Have we
question.
That's an excellent question.
No, we did a really bad job at that.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
We took
brought
a
up the
week off
poll.
and dropped the
We're like,
ball
Let's get a poll together. And it's like, oh, wait, we should have done that last time.
week.
That was
Yeah,
so
for
off.
sure.
Mhm.
All right, what did we all vote for? I know I wanted animal shows.
I had female protagonist.
I did Western.
And I was going to go with educational shows again.
Oh wow, look at us. All
Go back
right,
and
well,
revisit those.
can't you roll a D4 on Google? You want to do that this week?
Yeah,
Let's
let's
do
just
that. Let's just do that.
Rolling a D4. We got a 2. All right, who said what we were doing next? Female protagonist.
Female protagonist.
There it is. All right.
Female
There you go.
protagonist. All right, Audie, go ahead. Which show are we?
Buffy the Vampire Slayer again. Let's do that. No.
We'll get it back to you. It'll be in the show notes,
Yep.
or
Yep.
we'll tweet it out on Blue Sky. Bleed it out. I
Yep.
don't know what it's called.
No,
but
we're
that's-
tweeting. It's still
Oh,
tweeting. Let's
okay.
just-
Mhm.
I'm all about it.
We're tweeting it out on Blue Sky. We'll let you know. You will know.
I did not see any feedback for this week. I don't know if anyone else did. Again, given the nature of this show and the fact that I think I'm the only person that remembers it, would not surprise me. So,
Yeah,
I'm not convinced
Yeah.
it wasn't a fever dream.
listen, it very well could have been.
We just spent
Um,
45 minutes talking about it, and I don't know that it was real.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I was trying to
Um,
see. I think we did get some feedback. So this is from a couple weeks ago. We did get some feedback from an older show we did
Sure.
Wings. This was in the YouTube. Apologies to people who submit YouTube comments. I haven't worked that into my workflow of finding feedback when we get to the show. So there's been some, but I'll start with this most recent one from Trisha Meyer on YouTube. I love Wings, but you definitely shouldn't judge the show by its pilot episode Legacy or even by its first season, which was only 6 episodes. This is referring to the pilot of Wings we watched. You really need to watch seasons 4 and 5 to get a good sense of how good this show really was. Even with its flaws and continuity errors, the underlying themes played across all 8 seasons and provided a real payoff in the series finale. So I think we addressed that in that episode, that this wasn't the Wings we all knew and love.
Yeah.
So much as what it became. But thank you so much, Trisha, for your comments. We appreciate it for sure. And that show got way better as it went along and found its feet, as most shows do. Yeah.
Yeah. Sitcoms especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for
Need some
Cheers.
time.
Cheers nailed it on its first trip out the door. We went there, and that was shockingly good for a first pass.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Now, Steven, you
Yes.
have something you wanted to bring up.
I do. So, if you like hearing the 4 of us talk about TV, you might like to hear 2 of us talk about movies. Travis and I have officially launched a new podcast called 24 FPS Presents. In that show, we're going to cover different franchises, directors, different things, actors, maybe. We don't know. It could go anywhere. But where are we going first? Well, buckle up. Where we're going, we ain't got friends. All we got is family. We're covering the Fast and the Furious series on 24 FPS Presents Fast and Curious. The first episode drops tomorrow. You can find details about 24 FPS Presents over at tvstravis.com. He's got a link up there where you can add it to your podcatcher. We watched the first Fast and Furious movie. We're watching all of them, all 11 in a row. So join us as we do a lot of what we do here, which is talk about movies and go through it and critique it and talk about how much we love it, how much we didn't love it. And let me tell you, Fast and Furious is a roller coaster. So you're going to have some fun. We encourage you to send your feedback. Let us know what you think as you listen along with us. And yeah, that's it. So hit up tvstravis.com for all the links. You'll find them to add it to your old podcatcher. Give it a listen.
Yep. And if you want to send us feedback about this show,
Yes.
did you watch or remember the fever dream that is Sci Factor? Did you any of the shows that we've talked about? Do you have a favorite show with a female protagonist? Send us your feedback. thosedayshow.bsky.social on the Blue Sky. We've got those with a days show at gmail.com for the emails. Voicecast.app/thosedayshow to send us a voice message. We love getting the feedback, so definitely send us anything you've got. We would love to hear it. And we will have an announcement of what our next show will be to kick off Female Protagonists. I've got some ideas that I'm going to lean towards, so we'll see where this goes. But I'm kind of excited about this topic.
Yeah,
good choice.
Great.
Yeah.
So until next time, and whatever show it is that we're going to be watching, for Amy, for Audie, and for Steven, I'm Travis saying things are weird, and Dan Aykroyd likes to tell you about it. Alincest.
Panda sap.
Complex sex.